Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge. It's our live Manchester United versus Tottenham preview. We're having it. We're also getting into it because got a bit of a hot take here. I saw it on X. Bruno Fernandes, not just Man United's Player of the Year. Bruno Fernandes for Premier League Player of the Year, PFA Player of the Year. We'll be discussing that. Do you agree, disagree? Got any other hot takes? We'll delve into that. Also, United in financial trouble if we've got time. But we're going to be starting off straight away with this game against Spurs and why it might be a little bit more difficult than it seems and why Michael Carrick must drop this player. Should Sesko be starting in the game? We'll get into all of that and your comments as well. But before we do not forget, on the preview, we are sponsored and powered by Boyle Sports, and we'll do something a bit different with them when it comes to the preview. The United Stand team have been checking out some match day stats ahead of this game, and we thought we'd turn it into something a bit more fun for the chat. So we've got our little fun segment for you called the Boyle Sports Data Decoder. It's just a little challenge where you get to guess the player, but only from these stats. Dead easy. Well, let's see how good your football knowledge is. So who am I? I started my professional career at Southampton, making my Premier League debut at just 17. Know who it is. This season, I've 1 assist and no goals in 24 appearances. I'm known for my elite ball progression, combining a powerful driving run with the technical composure to operate at the back. I joined Man United in 2014 and played alongside my current manager. I have missed 305 games through injury in my Man United career. I scored 3 goals for my country, including 1 in the Euros 2020 final. So without Googling, stick your guesses in the chat and shout out the first correct answer. I will do that. Moving on, of course, I think many people know who it is. I mean, I don't even want to say yet. Luke Shaw, well done. Everybody's got it. Well done. Well done. Anyway, moving on. There have been 17 goals in the last 10 games between United and Spurs. None have been goalless. So if you think there might be goals again this time, don't forget Boyle Sports early payout 2 goals ahead offer. So if United go 2-0 ahead, but it finishes 2-2, they'll pay out at 2-0. 2 goals ahead offer. If the team you back goes, I've done that. Fingers crossed United are smashing Spurs by at least 2 goals. Anyway, we'll get into that. And of course, if you're new to Boyle Sports, there's a bet £10, get £40 in free bets welcome offer. Thanks again to Boyle Sports for sponsoring the channel as always. 18 plus UK and Ireland only. Terms and conditions are in the description and on screen. Please bet responsibly. Okay, so look, I think let's get into this game. And I think the first place I want to start off with, which might be surprising before I show you the actual lineup that I've predicted, is that when it comes to away form, Tottenham are 4th in the bloody league. 12 away games, everybody has played 12 away games, and Tottenham are 4th in the league for away form. We are 6th in the league for home form. We've played 12, we've won 7, we've drawn 3, we've lost 2. But Spurs have won 5, drawn 4, and only lost 3 games away from home this season. So ridiculously crap in real life, but their away form is actually quite decent. So we probably do need to be a little bit respectful of Spurs, because I'm saying that this is going to be easier than Fulham. I actually do think this game will be easier than Fulham. I've said it and I'm going to stand by it. I do. So let me just take that off the screen because you got a little bit of a glimpse of it. So this is the lineup that I predict Carrick... Well, this is actually not the lineup I predict Carrick's going to go with. I think I've got 10 players right. I genuinely do think that he should be making a change, but it isn't Sesko for me. I think that I understand those people out there who want Sesko to start, but I don't think Sesko should start. I can't justify it. I think he's close. I think he's not knocking on the door. But the player I think should start is Mazraoui. So, I mean, realistically, I think he will go with the same 11 that beat Fulham, started against Fulham and started against Man City and Arsenal. Well, obviously not the same because Dorgu's out, but certainly the team that started against Fulham. However, at what point do you just realise that Mazraoui's better than Dalot? And at what point do you just go, I want my best players on the pitch? I mean, my case is, if let's say Leon played quite well, you'd probably bring Luke... Well, no, actually, I wouldn't. That's a bad example. But Mazraoui's better than Dalot. And he was the one who played it into Bruno for the assist. So we're only playing 1 game a week. Like, there's no Europa League game or Carabao Cup game for him to work his way back in. at some point, you literally have to just drop Dalot and play Mazraoui. He can't work his way back in because we haven't got enough games for it. So I just think Mazraoui should start. I think he's a better player. And I think that against Spurs, who will look to counter, because that's the way they're going to play, by the way, I would go with Mazraoui in this game. I think it's just a logical thing. I've seen a lot of people saying Sesko should start, and I'm a big fan of Sesko. And Van der Ven and Romero are both fit. So the pace of Mbeumo probably isn't as important because Van der Ven is quick and they're physical. So maybe Sesko would work, but we thought that against Fulham last week. I wouldn't start Sesko. I think Sesko on the bench, Mbeumo starts because I want Ahmad and Cunha in, and where you can't drop Mbeumo. So I think Sesko's unfortunate at the moment that we've got Cunha, Mbeumo and Ahmad, and he's just going to have to be on the bench. But Mazraoui comes in for me. That's the one that I would do. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I don't think he'll do it. I think he'll stick with Dalot in the team as well. But look, in relation to the game, I expect Spurs to play compact, deep, and counter. It's basically the Brentford blueprint, isn't it? And it can be quite effective. But I actually think this game is easier. And I use the word easy in the loosest sense of the term because I think the last time I said easy, we lost to Everton. So I'm very aware that I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy win. Although Spurs are 4-1 with the bookies to win this game and we're odds on. So look, it's not just me that thinks it's going to be a win for United. But Fulham, I think, are a better team than Tottenham, and we found a way to beat Fulham. So this should be better. And with West Ham next Tuesday, that probably is more difficult than this as well because West Ham are trying to stay up and it's away from home. So I think that they're gonna play deep, they're gonna counter, but where this game gets won for me is the midfield. I look at Spurs midfield at the moment, and I actually do think Conor Gallagher played very well last week, but Basuma started, and I think Basuma's shit. So I think that the midfield is where we can really cause them problems with the likes of Bruno and Casemiro and Mainu. And Conor Gallagher may have a good game, but on his own, it's 1 against 3, isn't it? And they don't really have any, Bergval's injured, Bentanker's injured, Maddison's injured. Trying to think who else they've got who can play in the midfield. So Palhinha, I think he must be injured as well. I've not heard anything about him for a while. So yeah, to be fair, they've got a major injury crisis in their midfield. I don't rate Basuma, and I think it's an opportunity. In fact, I've got a funny feeling. I'm getting the feeling there's going to be a red card for Spurs. I am getting a feeling of a red card for Spurs. Dragusin, Romero, Basuma. I'm thinking that maybe that will happen. I've just been told that Palhinha actually started against Man City. He did. I completely and utterly missed that. So that's where he was. He was playing in the defence. Yeah, he was playing in a 3. So, yeah, sorry about that. Didn't notice him in that game at all. But, yeah, look, I think that doesn't change the fact that I think we should be winning the game. That doesn't change the fact that I don't think Spurs are very good, and I think we're in a different place than them. And I think that with home advantage and our amazing crowd and the good job that Michael Carrick's doing and the way that the players are responding to him and the options we're going to have off the bench, I can see us winning it. I mean, we might not win it comfortably, but I can see us winning it. I think we'll find a way to win it. And that, to me, is the most important thing because I think at some point we're not going to win every game under Michael Carrick till the end of the season. That's just not going to happen. I mean, that would be incredible to happen. And I think we saw against Fulham that we're not that team. We're not blowing teams away. I think we grafted against Arsenal and we won 3-2. And we grafted against Fulham and we won 3-2. And in a way, there's something pure about that. I would find it amazing if we'd gone to the Emirates and won 4-0. I would have found it amazing if we'd beat Fulham 3-0. I think we know that this is a very competitive Premier League. Everybody can beat each other. And I've been impressed by the fact that the last 2 games we've grafted to wins. But this actually, with no disrespect to Spurs whilst also disrespecting them, Fulham are better than Spurs. So I think we can go into this game with confidence. We got a stoppage time winner. We came from behind. Well, we got a late winner against Arsenal as well, which shows that we're not just a 90-minute team. We're not just a 2-half team. We're a 95-minute team. And I think Spurs, having watched them last week against City, they were bloody awful for 45 minutes. And in the second half, they got their act together. I don't think they can play a 90-minute game. And at Old Trafford, I think we can now. So I'm going to go firmly with a Manchester United win. And I don't see any reason why we won't win it. Hi, Mark. I'm 15 and I've watched you for the last 2 years. I just wanted to say thanks for the daily content you come out and put us for us, says Aban. Thank you very much. Thank you for getting involved in the show, pal. Gaz says, what's your favourite fruit? I probably eat raspberries more than any other fruit. I don't know whether it's my favourite fruit. I just put it into a smoothie so it gets combined with other flavours. Vitinha next summer. Bruno plus Vitinha, says Ravi. Okay. Sesko should start. He will score from Bruno's setup, says JB. The problem is, look, the thing is, right, if you say, let's drop Sesko, sorry, let's start Sesko, who are you going to drop? I just love people who say Sesko's got to start but won't take responsibility and say who we should drop. Because I ain't dropping Cunha, I ain't dropping Ahmad, and I'm not dropping Mbeumo, and I'm not dropping Bruno, so I can't start Sesko. These are nice problems to have, certainly. But look, I agree, Sesko has played well, but this is what you have when you're doing well. You put good players on the bench. We're just not used to being that club. We're not used to being that club, are we? We're not used to having players that deserve to start on the bench. We're not. We've not beat Spurs for a couple of seasons, says Dan. And Mark, the transfer budget was spent on Glazer's debt, says Stephen G. Today is my birthday, says Shahin. Congratulations to everyone for having me in the community. Happy birthday, Shahin. Hope you're doing well. But what about long throws, Mark, says Naveen? Well, Carrick's killed them anyway. I mean, Michael Carrick must be watching this channel because I've not seen Delo doing long throws at all since Carrick's been in, and long may that continue. Daniel Thompson says, I hope you're all well and had a good day. Thank you very much, Daniel. You too. And Savage, welcome to the Members Club, one of our moderators as well. Thank you very much. Look, I want to come back and forth in this show, but I also want to just say this because I'm very excited about it, right? Saw somebody on X saying it this afternoon about Bruno Fernandes or Declan Rice being Player of the Year. It sparked something in me, and I just want to say this: Bruno Fernandes, Player of the Year, not just Man United's Player of the Year. Bruno Fernandes up there with the likes of Roy Keane and Ryan Giggs and every other Man United player that's won the PFA Players. I mean, I'm talking Player of the Year in the Premier League. When was the last time we did that, by the way? I feel, was it Van Persie, maybe? I can't remember the last time a Man United player won Player of the Year. And look, I don't think this is a vintage Manchester United side, but Bruno Fernandes, Player of the Year, best player in the Premier League this season. Who's with me on that? I can see people laughing all the time already, but no, let me explain it for you, right? Bruno Fernandes, Player of the Year. 12 assists and 5 goals in the Premier League. The only person who has a better combination than 17 contributions is Erling Haaland, who's got 20 goals and 5 assists, and Thiago's got 16 goals and 1 assist. No one else is anywhere near. So on pure stats of goals and assists, Bruno is smashing the crap out of everybody on assists. He's got 12, and Cherky's in second place with 7. And he's only second to Erling Haaland on combined goals and assists. And that's because bloody Haaland scores for fun, doesn't he? So Bruno Fernandes is creating 3.3 chances per 90. Cherky's 2.9. Like, he's the only player in the league that's creating more than 3 chances per game. And for half of the season, he was playing in the midfield. So, look, I'm not saying it gets us Champions League football. I'm not saying we should be running around the streets claiming it as a success. But it would be a pretty significant thing for a Manchester United player to win Premier League Player of the Year or be voted Player of the Year by his peers. But I can't think of anybody else that deserves it. Now, I think people are going to make a big case for Declan Rice. I think people will make a big case for Declan Rice because he is having a good season. Arsenal are top of the league. They're going to win the league. But I think there is a case for Bruno Fernandes. I really do. I don't think he'll get it because I think people will look at where Man United are in the league. Having said that, 15th last year, top 5 this year, that's a big improvement. And he's been a huge part of it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to probably go, you know what? He is wise. He is talking sense. He knows what he's on about, and I didn't think about it like that. And I'm going to say welcome to the club because I think he does deserve it. And also, I think there's a lot of us out there that feel truly vindicated because Now that he's been moved from the mid... I mean, to be fair, his stats in the midfield were very good, so I can't really make this case, but I feel like I'm going to claim it anyway. I feel that even though he's been playing as a number 10 for only 3 games, it's because of us that he is now a candidate for Player of the Year, because he is a number 10, he is the best number 10 in the league and one of the best number 10s in Europe. But to be fair, a lot of his stats did come in the midfield as well, which I just said. So, look, I'm throwing it in there. It's an 8 o'clock show. We are doing a preview and we are open to it's your show, but I'm just going to throw that in there as my piece to say, fight me. Why shouldn't Bruno Fernandes win PFA Player of the Year, Premier League Player of the Year? Why not? Why should Declan Rice win it more than him? Why should Erling Haaland win it more than him? Surely it's more impressive to have that many assists when you played half the season in the midfield. I think it's incredible. I do like Gabriel, Sparky. I do. Look, I'm not diminishing Gabriel or Declan Rice at all. I'm just saying Bruno Fernandes won't get it, but I'm starting the bandwagon now. Get on, climb on, spread it, share it. If you see the clip, share it, because Bruno should win Player of the Year, in my opinion. Amazing if Bruno gets Player of the Year after spending more than half the season in the midfield, says the streets will never. And 1 Inch Wonder says Malacia Premier League Player of the Year, no competition. Literally no competition. Thanks for the super chats coming in, by the way. Also, obviously it's an 8 o'clock show, so throw us in your questions as well. And Trex V says, hi Mark, I've been watching you since 2020. Do you think we'll go all out in the summer? If so, where do you see us investing the most other than the midfield, says Trex? I mean, I'm a little bit worried, to be honest. I mean, let me just read you this, because this is quite topical and fits in with what you're talking about there. It hasn't gone unnoticed from me, so, and I'm sure it hasn't gone noticed by you. I think it's The Athletic that have been talking about it. So Manchester United posted record commercial revenues last year, but their operation is concerning the Glazers. There's a minimum 24 million sponsorship shortfall. No training kit partner shirt sleeve deal in doubt. There's a 10 million Adidas Champions League penalty. Commercial staff has been cut by 24%. No new NFTs being minted, and rivals are growing faster. So there's a few things around how Manchester United, and it also says that both Avram and Joel Glazer have voiced their concerns internally at commercial performance within Manchester United. Well, look, I feel like going boring, don't give a toss, but let's be real here. When the Glazers are concerned about a drop in commercial revenue, you know there is a problem, because all we are to the Glazers is revenue. That's all we are. They won't be concerned that we haven't bought a midfielder. They won't be concerned that we haven't qualified for the Champions League that much in the last decade. And they won't be concerned that we haven't competed for a title. But they'll bloody be concerned if the commercial revenue drops down. I mean, can you imagine being on the board, right? And Joel Glazer's coming in by Zoom. And Omar's going, yeah, we're panicking a little bit about the midfield. The fans aren't happy. We haven't bought a midfielder for the last 2 transfer windows. It's going to jeopardise Champions League qualification. We've sacked half our workforce, and it's starting to bite us on the arse, because by sacking half our workforce, it's making us not produce as much as we should. All our rivals are kicking our arse. They've got more money. They're better than us. They've got better squads. It's a real problem. Revenue is down. What? Revenue is down. What? Revenue is down. I've not even finished the sentence yet. I've just told you about the Champions League and the team, and we haven't got a midfielder. Yeah, I know, I heard all that. But what about the revenue's down? What about the revenue? What is it about the revenue? Well, we haven't got a shirt sleeve sponsor for training kits. What? Mate, I've just said to you we haven't got a midfielder, and you said nothing. I'm talking about the shirt sleeve sponsor, and you're having a bloody rage. Well, this is what it's all about, you know. So if they're getting angry or they're getting concerned, it probably tells you there's a bit of a problem, because that's all that they're interested in. But look, I think for us as fans, 10 million here from Adidas, 15 million there, probably doesn't really bother us. It's probably worth noting that it bothers the Glazers, though, because you do wonder how they're going to turn that ship around. I think in general, when it comes to Manchester United, I think brands and partners are waking up to the fact that United fans aren't massively... If I've got something like, and I'm trying to think what... Look, if I'm
if I'm releasing Heat 2, that's probably a little bit too. Let me think of if I'm releasing a Quentin Tarantino's final film, right? And I'm a brand. I know everyone's going to watch it. I know everyone's going to be excited about it. So if I'm a soft drinks, I want them holding my soft drinks. If I'm a clothing manufacturer, I want the actors wearing that. You know, if I'm a perfume, everything. Tarantino's film, I want a piece of it. 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 And that's how advertising works. With Manchester United, all we can really say is we're the biggest club in the world and we've got a huge fan base. And I think that worked for a little bit. But I think brands are starting to wake up and go, well, you are the biggest club in the world and you have got the biggest fan base in the world. But is that fan base engaged? Is it excited? Is it in love with Manchester United's brand? No. So if we sponsor your club, look what happened to TeamViewer. It was a backlash. Oh, I can put my brand on your shirt. Who gives a shit? And I think this is coming to home to roost. We have got huge brand appeal. But you can't just go, we've got millions of fans and here we go. Because I think there's a lot of United fans now that when they see a brand attached to Man United, they don't go, I want that car. I want that. They go, well, they're just funding the Glazers, aren't they? And I think brands are waking up to that because there's no reason why we wouldn't get brands. We're massive. We've got a huge fan base. But I think brands are becoming smarter and going, well, are Man United fans actually going to see a brand on the shirt and go, I love that brand? Or are they going to see the brand on that shirt and go, they're funding the Glazers, you know? And I think that's it. It's not just about numbers. It's about how the fans feel, isn't it? So I think it is starting to have an impact. Hi, Mark. We've done that one. Thank you very much. Oh, Trev, Trex, let me answer your question. Do you think we'll go all out in the summer? If so, where do you see us investing the most other than the midfield? Well, obviously, we're already getting the warning signs. There's one there as well. I mean, look, in the last 3 days, since the transfer window closed, today we've been told about the Glazers worrying about commercial value. On Tuesday, we got told from David Ornstein that there might not be a crazy summer. And then yesterday, what was the one yesterday? It was talking about if they don't get Champions League football, it could be a challenging summer. So we've had 3 days of hints that the summer might not be the summer we would hope. We will go for the midfield. That's where we will go. Beyond that, I think we need a left back. As I said this morning, where would you rank Dalot in Premier League right backs? I wouldn't put him in the top 10. Where would you put Luke Shaw in Premier League left backs? I wouldn't put him in the top 5. Well, that's not good enough for your fullbacks in a Man United system. And these are open and honest assessments. Like, I'm not slagging them off. I'm just saying Dalot is not in the top 10 right backs in the Premier League, and Luke Shaw's not in the top 5 left backs in the Premier League either. Well, Manchester United, the fullbacks are very important in the modern game, and we don't have fullbacks at the highest level. So I think left back's really important because there isn't anybody else other than Luke Shaw. I still think that a lot depends on what we do with the manager in the summer. But I would go big on the midfield. I would try and buy 3 midfielders because I think that's where games are won and lost. And I think we need a lot of competition for players in the midfield. We definitely need a left back. And to be honest with you, we probably do need some squad players. Like, we need another winger for the bench. We need another striker for the bench. And we probably need another goalkeeper for the bench as well. So 6 to 8 players I think United need this summer. JB says, Sesko in for Ahmad to show how to win the Europa final, says Jay. Well, I'm not dropping Ahmad. What is it about Ahmad? Like, I mean, I don't know whether we've got people who are going to admit it, but there's definitely an undercurrent of dislike for Ahmad in this fan base. I've noticed it all season. Ahmad's one of my favourite players. Look, I'm never going to be into the dancing and the pissing about in the dressing room. I'm never going to be in for that. I didn't like it with Lingard, Rashford, Pogba, whatever. But that's never going to make me not like a player. I think Ahmad's one of our most important players. You know, when Ahmad gets the ball on the right-hand side, apart from Cunha, he's the player that gets me off my seat. I really like Ahmad. I think I still think he's got gears to go. I mean, how old is Ahmad? It's one of them players I just don't know. I would guess that he's 23, but 23, maybe 24 in July. So he's still got, in 3 years' time, he'll be 26. It's Law Sports News. But in 3 years' time, he's still got gears to go through. So
I really like Ahmad, and I think another positive from the Amrim era is that he was a player that Ten Hag didn't want to use, and Amrim did, and I think he's learnt what very few wingers actually learn. A lot of wingers never learn to work hard. A lot of wingers never learn to be consistent and track back. And because he was playing in a 3-4-3, he had to be the right back at times, and it's made him a really hard-working player. And when you look at the big teams that do well, whether it's Pep's team, Saka at Arsenal, Martinelli, Liverpool, you've got to work hard. And he works really, really hard. I like Ahmad, and I think he's got a great temperament. He can have a laugh off the pitch, and he's up for it on the pitch. So I wouldn't be dropping Ahmad. I think I definitely pick up on this undercurrent of underappreciation in certain areas of the fan base. But I think Ahmad's one of our most important players. And I think he's one of our most scary players. If I was the opposition, Ahmad would scare me. Cunha scares me, and Ahmad scares me. And they scare me because they can produce something out of nothing. Like, if Ahmad gets the ball, he can win a penalty, he can put a cross in, he can shoot. I think he's a really important player. Nothing wrong with Ahmad. People focus too much on goals and assists, says Jacob. Yeah, they do. And look, I had this conversation with Boovy. I was in London doing something at the start of the week, the Man City fan, and he was talking about Ryan Giggs being overrated. And I said, I can understand why, in the modern game, people think Ryan Giggs is overrated, because they look at his goals and assists and start saying Mane and Salah are better. But if you actually saw Ryan Giggs play like I did, year in, year out, you'd want him in your team, because the work rate is incredible and the impact he makes is incredible. And I think Ahmad's similar in a way. He might not deliver the goals and assists, but he creates so much mayhem around him that other people do benefit from it. Why does these owners not understand that progress on the pitch translates to progress off the pitch and vice versa? It's as simple as that, says Henry. Well, I think that this is something we've been talking about for years, mate. I don't think it's not that they don't. Look, I think what you're basically saying is, why didn't Ed Woodward or Richard Arnold or Omar Barada sit them down and say, you're all about the money, but if we're successful on the pitch, you'll make more money? They do know that. They just aren't. They don't want to spend money. So they want to make money by not spending money, because they don't spend any of their own money. Who's been the better signing in your opinion, says Stephen Ainsworth? Is it Mbeumo or Lammens? Well, thank you very much for your super chat, first of all. I think that I don't really like doing it, because I almost feel like when you pick one over the other, you're disrespecting the other player. And obviously, Lammens has been very, very cheap compared to Mbeumo. Mbeumo cost £65 million. Brentford took us for exactly what they wanted. I don't think he was overpriced at that, by the way. I think we paid the top value for him, but I don't think we overpaid on him. Well, we probably did overpay on him, but what I'm saying is you can't argue with it, really. He is a big player for us. I think at the moment, Mbeumo is the better signing, because he's ready to go now. I still think with Lammens, there will be times, and there has been times, where people criticise him a little bit. But I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think Lammens reminds me a lot of David De Gea, when David De Gea came in. And in fairness, David De Gea probably made more mistakes in his first year than Lammens has so far, touch wood. Lammens will make mistakes, and I think he has made mistakes, to be fair. I think there has been times, as I said, where people have said he should have done better there, he should have done better there. But when you compare him to like Binder and Onana, I mean, you remember them, Onana last season before, but you think about the start of the season, I had no confidence in Binder. No confidence in him at all. No confidence in Onana. Pratt, man, I mean, that Grimsby game, like, I legitimately got asked this question a couple of weeks ago from somebody who said, do you think he was getting paid to let them goals in? I was like, you can't say that, you'll get sued. And they were like, no, I genuinely think something was going on. I said, no, he definitely wasn't doing anything like that. He's just shit. No Man United fan thinks Onana was doing it on purpose. He just is shit. Like, he's just not good enough. There's something, he may be able to go elsewhere and play well, but in a Man United shirt, he's shite. So look, I think Lammens has come in and done the thing. I remember talking to Ben Foster about this. He said, like, I had a really good career. I did really well at West Brom and Birmingham and Watford. But at Man United, it wasn't really what I wanted it to be, and it's a huge shirt to wear. And I've seen that with so many goalkeepers. It definitely did it to Onana. It did it to Mark Bosnich. It did it to plenty of goalkeepers. There's something about the Man United shirt that you've either got it or you haven't. And Lammens has shown that temperament that's so important. You've got to have an incredible self-belief. You've got to block it all out, because nerves makes you underperform, doesn't it? If you think about yourself making a cup of tea, do it every day. Easy. You can do it with your eyes closed. You try and do that when there's a polar bear next to you saying, if you spill one bit, I'm going to maul you. You're going to get nervous, aren't you? And that's the thing. And I think the goalkeepers that make it at Man United are the ones with the temperament to not let it hurt them. And you want it, in a way, you want them to make mistakes, because it's how they deal with those mistakes. I said the same thing about Michael Carrick. I don't want him to lose yet. I mean, I definitely don't want us to lose until we're firmly in the top 5. But at some point, I do want him to lose. I want him to lose. I want him to lose, and I want us to play badly, and I want us to lose, because I want to see how he reacts to that. I hated the fact that Solskjaer got the job, just win. I want you want to. It's like marrying somebody, isn't it? Go for a few dates, dream girl or boy or whatever, and then you get married, and then you're married and you find out that their farts stink, or their breath smells horrible in the morning, or they don't like football. Or they don't like chocolate or something like that. You want to find all these things out before you make your decision. And I think Lammens is doing a great job. You want to lose, says Dominica. No, well, you didn't listen to the question, did you? I want to know that if we go with Michael Carrick, we know everything. And to know everything, we need to see how he responds to losing, because we're going to lose at some point. So that'll be, I don't want us to lose until at least we're like 7-8 points clear of 6th place. But if you want Michael Carrick to be Manchester United manager, and I think there is a chance it happens, then we need to see everything. We need to see how he reacts to bad things, of course. Sesko in for Ahmad to show how to win the Europa League. We've done that one. Good question, Stephen. We are going through a purple patch, but we're a 4-game stretch of draws away from finishing 7th. Liverpool, Chelsea have better squads, says Arca. We're a 4-game stretch of draws away from finishing 7th. How do we finish 7th this season? I don't even... I've got to... You've thrown me with your 4 bloody draw thing. I've never heard of that. So we're 4th at the moment with 41. I'll tell you what. Let's play it together. It's a live stream. Let's do it together. Let's show the table. There it is. Okay, so we're 4th at the moment. Yabba dabba do. With 41 points. We've got Chelsea behind us by 1 point. We've got Liverpool behind us by 2 points. So you're saying Chelsea and Liverpool could go past us. All right, that's not inconceivable. That puts us in 6th. 7th means Brentford have got to go past us. They're 5 points behind us. Forget about it! Brentford, forget about it! Forget about it. You're gone. We ain't falling behind Brentford or Sunderland. 5 points to them is going to be a lot. Respect to Brentford and Sunderland, but they're not getting anywhere near us. The only team I'd be worried about outside the top 6 is Newcastle, and they are 8 points off us, so I ain't worried about them either. Look, we could finish 6th. I'm not going to lie. It's not impossible. There's only a 2-point gap to 6th. We just got to. That's what I mean. I don't want to lose any bloody games at the moment. Just keep win. But Liverpool have got a couple of difficult games. They've got City on Sunday, and then they've got Man City. I mean, at some point, if it stays this close, we'll have a list of everybody's games, and we'll be going, we'll win there, we'll win there, we'll win there. But look, last week was brilliant. That could have been a draw. I actually, funnily enough, I watched my reaction to the Fulham goal and the Sesko goal this afternoon, because I don't normally get to watch them back, and it could have been easy. And losing Clinton makes a good point as well. 6th place will be Europa League as well. I mean, I don't want Europa League, but I bloody want Europe next season. I want that. I want that Champions League. I want that Champions League. I'm absolutely a massive fan of the new Champions League format. I love the fact that you get 8 league games instead of having to play teams home and away. And out of those 8 games, you're guaranteed to get 2 of PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan. You always get 2 good games. And yeah, I want us to be in that. I want us to be in that new format. I want to be in that. The Europa League format. I mean, look. Have you seen the Conference League? Have you seen the Conference League? Oh my God, don't want any of that. Arca, we're going to. Thank you very much for that. Dayan says midfielders equals Champions League equals better revenue and sponsorship deals. Shows their incompetence, says Dayan. Look, message to the Glazers. They're probably sat there going, why aren't we getting all the brand deals? We've got the big fan base. We're Manchester United. Why aren't we getting the brand deals? It's exactly what was said before there. If Man United want to get the brands in, you've got to get the fans excited. Brands love excited consumers. So if Man United have excitement, brands will sign up. But brands aren't stupid. Like, they'll look at Man United and go, well, who's your manager? Who are you signing in the summer? Are you going to be in the Champions League next year? Are you ever going to compete for the title? All these things, you can't just go, we're Manchester United anymore. What are they going to do? Send Gary Neville into the bloody brand meetings. Gary, come out, we're Manchester United. We're signing here. It's not going to work anymore. Brands, the world's different now. People are intelligent. Well, maybe not. But they're not. It's exactly as what we've been saying for years. The Glazers have been living off the name of Manchester United for far too long. And nowadays, patience is a premium. People won't just go and chuck their brand on Man United anymore because Man United's a big club. People are like, I want to put my money against something that's exciting and interesting and fair play. We see it. We see it with the United stand. Like, the conversations we've been having for the last couple of years are very different to what we were having at the start, because traditionally they just go, we want to go to radio, we want to go to the mainstream. But they realise that you, the consumer, isn't as interested in the mainstream or radio anymore. You're on social media. You're on, that's where you're consuming, and brands are coming over. That's the way it is, and it's the same with football. Man United might be a bigger club than Man City, but Man City are always in the Champions League. Man City are always competing for titles. We used to say, how do Man City get their brand deals? It's something dodgy about it. Can't say that now. I agree. 2010 to 2015, how were Man City getting massive brand deals? But now you can't even say that. If I was a brand, I'd look at Man United, I'd look at Man City, and if I wasn't a Man United fan and I was a brand, I'd go, where am I going to get the most glamour? What's the growth market at the moment? And it's probably Man City. What if a new manager wants a new goalkeeper, says Luca? Well, a new manager, well, it doesn't matter, because we don't have a veto for the manager now. It's always going to go through the board. Andre Gomez says Spurs is, look, we probably do need to buy a goalkeeper, but I don't think we need to buy a first team goalkeeper. Andre Gomez says Spurs is such a hard team for us. It's been such for a while now. I don't think this will be an easy win, but I also can't see us losing. I think we'll win because I don't think they've got a midfield to compete with ours. I think that's where the game will be won and lost, and they have got problems in their midfield. If they could construct a midfield that was half decent, I'd be a little bit worried, but maybe with Van de Ven and Romero, they could put Paulinho in the midfield with Conor Gallagher, and that makes them stronger. Xavi Simons is a good player, but they are missing Kudos as well. I don't think Spurs are as good as Fulham. But look, we'll wait and see. Wait and see. Is Garnacho also a candidate for Player of the Year, says Jason Wilcox? And amazing if Bruno gets Player of the Year after spending more than half the season in midfield. That was Streets Will Never. Thank you very much. I think I read that one as well. The United #1 shirt is heavy to wear, and Lammens has done well. I've seen bigger names crumble under that weight, says Mr. Saunders. 100% Barthez, World Cup winner. People forget about him. He was crap. Hi, Mark. Hope you're all good. Devil's advocate. I don't like the board, but could you argue the board made the right call sacking Amrim if we get top 3, says Dom. No.
No, I think the board got lucky. I think they sacked Amrin because the argument made it untenable. But also, hindsight, we'll never know. I didn't know that Amrin was going to get sacked when I said it. I was absolutely convinced we were going to get top 5 under Amrin. Now, we might not have done, and we might have done. We were playing pretty bad around the new year, but we didn't have Ahmad and we didn't have Mbeumo. And I think that as much as Michael Carrick's done a good job, that team without Ahmad and Mbeumo in it is a tough team. I mean, look at this. Just look at this. You take Ahmad and Mbeumo out of that. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Cunha, Sesko, Lacey? I mean, it might work, but it is tough without that. So, but anyway, I'm not answering the question and I'm not going to duck it. I don't think the board deserve credit for sacking Amrin. I think the board appointed Amrin and then fell out with him halfway through a season, which is not the way to run a football club. I think somebody said to me the other day, don't be surprised if Wilcox loses his job in the summer. I said, I'd fall off my fucking chair if Wilcox loses his job. So Jim loves him, but they were adamant that Man United might do it, because if they were going to do it, you wouldn't do it now anyway. They might do it in the summer. I was like, it'll be bloody great if they do. I don't think they'll do it. Anyway, thank you, Dom. Watching Betis to check in on Anthony, and it's not good, says Joe. Well, I said this the other day, Joe. I don't hear anything about Anthony anymore. Used to be a lot said about Anthony. We don't hear anything about him anymore, do we? But I don't really care. I don't wish Anthony does bad at Betis. I mean, I want Garnacho to do bad, but we don't really hear about him. We did well to get some money out of that. Mojo says, we're heading for a financial meltdown, high debt, falling revenues in an ideal recipe for disaster. I hope Glinios are forced to sell. Sacking people, reducing wage bills will not cover towards recovering revenue to cost ratio, says Mojo. It's an interesting one. As I said, it's not really something for us to spend half an hour on the show talking about, but when you get decent outlets saying that the Glazers aren't happy about reducing revenue, reducing commercial revenue, you take notice of that. And we're in debt. And we're trying to build a stadium. Where's this money coming from? Because I tell you what, you'd have to be a moronic brand to go and ring up United up now and go, oh, we'll give you 100 million. We'll give you 100 million to put our name on your shirt. Why? The reduction in games is another reason as well. You'd want it cheap. So I'm not massively worried about it, Mojo. I don't think it's going to make a massive amount of difference. I don't think they're going to go anywhere because they want to build the stadium. But if the club ever got in a really bad situation, there would be surely somebody that would come in and rescue us, I would hope. Watch Anana's last game. He's worse now, says M. Parker. And Ian Drowton says, in the summer, we need to call Trabzonspor and see if they can take Wilcox. They can have Prattman and Robin. And the back line seems way calmer with Lammens, says Mr. Sausage. And Emily Derry's in the house, says the club has been run on nostalgia, smoke and mirrors, key areas have been neglected, piles of debt. You get what you put into something in the end. Why would sponsors invest when the owners won't, says Emily Derry. Thank you very much for that. And, well, look, as I said, are we happy about this or are we concerned about it? I mean, most fans would be concerned that their club may be struggling to get brand deals. However, I think some of us look at it and go, well, you can't run the club like mercenaries and then expect brands to prop you up. There's got to be, as I say, like any sponsor, like when the F1 goes to LA and they're looking, Las Vegas, and they're looking for sponsors, they'll look at the temperature of the audience and go, is it worth us laying out money? I mean, like the money that some brands will give to some sports franchises is incredible. Incredible amounts of money because, like, look at Wimbledon. On the scoreboards, is it Rolex? Like, that probably cost them a lot of money to have Rolex on the scoreboards at Wimbledon tennis, right? But
loads of people watch Wimbledon for 2 weeks, and it has an excitement to it, and it has a nostalgia to it, and it has a class to it. And that Rolex brand obviously are like, well, it costs us a lot of money, but our name is there every time it goes to the scoreboard, and it's Wimbledon, and it's exciting, and the fans love it, and that's positive when they see Rolex. With Man United, you put Rolex on the bloody scoreboard at Man United, and Man United fans looking at that scoreboard and going, oh, class, this, that, and the other. It's like, there's an association with what it is, and the Glazers have made Manchester United quite... meh. We love the club, but there's an element of the club that we sort of like go, meh, because of what they've done to it. They've made it a club that doesn't compete for titles. They've made it a club that can't qualify for the Champions League. We finished 15th last year. People also forget Ahmad tracks back like crazy. He's like football version of Russell Westbrook. Amazing pace and effort and aggressiveness, says Mazraoui. Hope you're doing well. Which is that one brand you'd love to see on a United kit, says Sanchit. Well, I always liked Sharp because it's just nostalgia. If I had to put a brand on there now, I don't really know. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm somebody that knocks one out to brands. You know, I mean, I don't see a brand and go, oh, I'm massively excited about that. But get in the chat and tell me. Nothing wrong with Ahmad. People focus too much on goals and assists. I've done that from Jacob. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. AIG, I never got to witness as Calves. Yeah, I think it's all about it's what you remember, isn't it? I mean, I remember I used to be able to tell you all the brands on shirts. I mean, I remember Crown Paints with Liverpool, NEC with Everton, JVC with Arsenal, Brother on Man City, wasn't it? Obviously, Man United was Sharp. Newcastle was the Newcastle Brown Ale, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was that. Trying to think of clubs that were playing. Tottenham was Holston. Trying to think of big clubs. Aston Villa was it Mitre or something like that? Something like that, I think. West Ham. I should know bloody West Ham. Why don't I know West Ham? Oh, what was West Ham? I can picture Frank McAvenny, but I can't picture what was on his bloody shirt. Yeah, Draper Tools was Southampton's. Thistle Hotels was Leeds. No, it was before Betway. It was way before then. Oh, what was it? I think it began with an A. I'm getting the word Anvil. Avco, that was it. That was it, Fred. Well done. Lovely stuff. Chelsea, when I remember Chelsea, it was Commodore, which was a bloody good thing. 1 Inch Wonder says you could put Boyle Sports on the shirt, Mark. Well, that would be very good, yes. But nice little segue there. Manchester United are just like the Dallas Cowboys, according to Manuel. He says, I'm here in Texas and see too many similar ties. Thank you for what you do, Mark. We shouldn't be like Dallas Cowboys, but somebody said it a couple of weeks ago. We're like the Yankees as well. You think about the New York Yankees, like, I don't think they're particularly good, but loads of people walk around with the NY caps, don't they? It's totally and utterly brandification. But I don't think United have even done that very well. We haven't actually, even though we're not very good, I don't think we've managed to maintain our brand in a way that everybody still wants to be associated with it. So we've failed on that part, haven't we? Whereas the New York Yankees might not be very good, but everyone's still buying New York Yankees caps, aren't they? Dallas Cowboys haven't won the NFC Championship for 30 years, and they're a huge club. They're a huge club. Always like the Vodafone kit, says Spot On. Thank you very much. And that'll do there. Thank you very much. Let me have a look at some of your comments.
Aeon was my first kit, says YK. If we get Vodafone or Chevrolet back, I'm going to be crazy ass happy, says Tech. And it's so popular here in Canada, says Calves. And if we qualify for the Champions League next season, where do you think we'll finish? Well, I've said it a few times, and I'm sure it will get said more and more, hopefully, if we do it. I don't think we're prepared for the Champions League next season at all. There's a number of our players that would be injured now if we were doing what Newcastle and Villa and Spurs and Chelsea are doing. I mean, Luke Shaw would not be able to play 2 games a week, I don't think. You're doubling up the load on the player. I mean, I was reading about Carrick today. He's literally giving them way more time off than Ten Hag or Amrim did. Like, the players are getting loads of time off. They're doing less training. No wonder they're fucking happy. I mean, this is the set of people who wanted to go in before 5 because it was dark. I mean, they must bloody love Carrick because he's reducing the training. He's giving them more time off. That's fine, by the way, but it won't work next season. He won't be able to give them all that time off next season because they'll never bloody train. So I think next season's going to be a real culture shock for a lot of these players because it will. I mean, some of them will remember it. If Bruno's here, he'll be like, it's a lot harder next season, you know. It's travelling, you finish one game, you don't get to prepare for the next one on the training ground. You literally rest, get on the plane and you play. So it's going to be a real shock to the likes of Mbeumo and Cunha who've never played in Europe. It's going to be a real shock for everybody this season, next season, if we're in Europe. So, again, do you think the club's going to prepare us for that? Do you think they're going to go, yeah, we'll get you a couple of first-team players and about 4 or 5 players for the bench as well because it's going to be a big season? I think next season will be very, very interesting next season. Even if this season ends up being a success, I won't be sat there in the summer going, we're back. I'll be sat there going, this is where the real hard work starts because next season's going to be bloody hard. Just look at Newcastle. Newcastle cannot do it when they're in Europe. When they're not in Europe, they'll get in the top 6. But when they are in Europe, they can't do it. It's really difficult. Spot says, always like the Vodafone kits. Thank you. Okay. Ali says, that's why giving Carrick the job full-time under this regime is a bad call. Well, even Michael Carrick won't be prepared for it. Whatever he learns in the next 4 months will be nothing like next season. It won't. Training for 1 game a week will be very different, but it'll be different whoever the manager is. Like, I mean, these are the conversations that need to be being had. Fantastic show tonight. Really enjoyed it. Always love doing a preview live with you anyway. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're only about 20 likes away from 1,000 likes and we've got 9,000 watching. So please do smash a like on the video. You're in luck tomorrow morning. I've done a couple of videos this week. I did the one about the attack being incredible. And I had another one ready anyway. So 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we've got another of those sit-down videos. Just a little bite-sized one-topic thing to make you think. So check that out. That's dropping at 7 a.m. UK time tomorrow. I'll be back with you live at 10 o'clock for the morning news show. We've got Ben Jacobs at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And he is going to tell us the story around the secret transfer. So a lot of people have been saying, oh, Ben Jacobs is a liar, this, that, and the other. He told me 2 weeks ago he'll tell us the story behind that, but he can't do it till the window's closed. So 2 o'clock tomorrow, you'll get to know the story about that. I know what the story is, but he will tell it you. And then 8 o'clock show tomorrow night. And then we're playing at half 12. So bring it on. Big day tomorrow. Check out the show at 7. Thanks, everybody, for watching. If you're not watching live, then leave your comments as always. Love that. And take care. Stay safe. And I'll speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.